Down here tonight. Good. Right, tonight we've got 4 managers who represent 3 of the Bostik leagues. First is Chairman and Manager Dorking Wanderers and Champions of the Premier Division. Evening, Mark.
Hello, mate.
Second is the Champions of the South East Division, Craig Wanderers Manager Tony Russell. Good evening.
Evening, mate.
Also Paul Hughes, from manager of Hayes and Yeading United, who also are the champions of their league, South Central Division. Good evening.
Good evening.
And last but not least, we've got Tony Reid.
Odd one out.
Well, don't say that, mate.
Under pressure.
I don't think so. Manager of Westfield and are in the playoffs in the South Central Division. So, like I say, once again, good evening, gentlemen, and thank you very much for giving up your Friday evening, because obviously last game of the season tomorrow, you've got plan and preparation, but like I say, thanks very much. So, yeah, so let's get on with the show. We'll have a good chat. Start with you, Mark. Wow, what a season. Smashing season you have. You obviously must be well pleased with the way the season has gone.
Obviously we signed a few close season, and you know, in honesty, the league was poor. You know, it weren't great this year, to be quite frank. I think most of the leagues have been weakened, more teams, more divisions. So our league weren't as good as last year by a country mile. So, you know, when it started and we knew that there was the super playoff, I said, this is you need to win this league this year, because I can't see it being as, I wouldn't call it weak, but you know, as it is this year. So, but yeah, we had a lot of injury problems up until Christmas, then we kicked on. So yeah, really good.
Can I just butt in there? Did you think when you lost to Merstham, I think they trounced you, your old buddy and ours, Hayden, done ya? Did you think that, well, is this going to happen this year? Because you were on a bit of a bad run at that point.
I didn't think it was going to happen, but I didn't think it weren't going to happen. I mean, we made loads of changes that day, to be fair. That's our biggest defeat.
So it's never in your mind. You never thought that you could actually end up being in the place. You thought you were going to go on and win it.
I thought we'd win it. Yeah, I did think we'd win it. Once it settled down, we got so many players out. We made the mistake of playing. Obviously, this is our first ever year in a 3G, and we made the mistake of playing probably too many friendlies on it. And we had, you know, our best centre half, and you know, one of our big signings. He went down injured, didn't kick a ball again until December from pre-season. So we picked up loads of knocks and injuries, and we just never recovered from it really. So, but yeah, no. Once we found our form, it was always a league that if you found your form, you could win a lot of games. I think we won 11 straight, and that was game over really at that point. So yeah, no, it's excellent. You've still got to win it. You know, we had more money than most, to be frank. Do you know what I mean? So it was there to be won, and we won it.
And that's 11 promotions in 19 seasons. Must be, again, a great record to be for your club.
Yeah, it's good. I see some old pictures online yesterday they sent me, and no, it's unreal. Obviously, we've come a long way. You know, we've got a model that works for us. You know, we won't change the way we are in terms of just the club. It was a park side, that's the bottom line, and you know, dragging the nets across and paying a fiver. And I used to play. I was top scorer for years, by the way, and as I remind them all the time. And you know, so we have the fun aspect to it, and we try to keep the players together. So as much as everyone says, oh, you know, we signed Jason Pryor, it's the worst thing we've ever done, I think, because we signed one player and the whole world went, Jesus Christ, you know, they've got some dough. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jason's he's expensive, do you know what I mean? But what comes with it is next level. But what people don't realise is the goalie was in our reserve team 5 years ago, and we've got probably 8 players been there over 3-4 years. Half the squad have been there over 3 years, basically, and many of them 4 or 5 years. So we just try to keep the players together and add in 3 or 4 better, you know, as we go along. That's what we try to do, and then. But we tend to have a look at the league first before we do that.
I just want to be a bit of devil advocate here. I mean, you know, I'm one of these grumpy non-league supporters that
Definitely
think that
grumpy.
you have got plenty of money and, you know, you're going to buy the league. In all honesty, you know, you ain't working under the parameters of Tony, Paul and Tony here, or the chairman, or people that are going to try and stitch you up behind the scenes, which happen in lots of non-league clubs. You ain't got to put up with all that old.
I've always said I don't think. I agree. I've always said I don't think I could be a manager, you know, under a chairman, because I see people work so hard and then get the rug pulled all the time. And normally the manager's doing it for next to nothing, you know, they're the ones getting least money. So I don't envy that role in clubs, you know, I really don't. And no, but
so you wouldn't be like that if and when the time you hang your boots up being a manager, you wouldn't be like that to whoever takes your boots, which are going to be big ones.
Yeah, no.
You'll be giving him plenty of time and giving him a pep talk and everything then, would
You've
you?
lasted 5 minutes before you've asked me when I'm going to stop managing. I get that every time. No, no, I enjoy it, but no, I don't envy the fact that the managers have the pressure of the chairman, and we've seen this year, you know, it's volatile. Do you know what I mean? And my easiest pitch when I'm signing players is that, you know, what I tell you is going to happen is going to happen.
That's true.
Nobody else is going to pull rank, get rid of the manager, get rid of you. You're going to be with us. That's how it is. So
that's great.
That's the best sales pitch I've got, really. But no, the record's unreal. And obviously we're not stupid. This league next year we're in particularly is ridiculous. You know, full-time sides in it, probably for the first time I think. All the shots staying full-time, so we'll be a very small fish in that pond. You know, we really will.
And Paul, coming to you now, you must also be
Tony.
Sorry, I beg your pardon, Tony. Sorry, Tony.
He's good.
I've got been drinking more.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was rather lazy eye.
Yeah, I won away. No, just say congratulations to you. Obviously, you must be also pleased with your season and the way it's gone. You've been manager there now, what, in May, you'll be there 4 years?
Yeah.
So the progression of the team, it must be where you want the team to be, obviously.
Yeah, no, not just a team, I think as a club as well. It's not just on the pitch. It was, when we look at it, how it is now compared to when I walked in, I must admit, I played for Cray, so in my head I thought, you know, they're quite a solid, biggish club for that level of football. So
sure.
When they put the 7 day in for me, and I sort of, when I met them, and they rolled all these plans out, I thought, you know, quite, this is a great opportunity that I can't turn down. So obviously I dropped down to go to them. And then I remember my first day, I went and met this guy called Martin, who's a guy around the club, you know, and he's like, I'll take you to a locker, I'll tell you what we've got. And he opened up this locker, and he sort of shuffled about, and there was a bag with 4 odd footballs. And then a carrier bag, like a Tesco's bag with like, I looked in, there was like that much of odd cones, and some bibs. And then there's some old bags and some old tracksuits, and he went, that's what we got.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, so he took me to the training ground, and it was over a place called Orpington Priory, and it was a 3G, but it was an old 3G. Do you know like the old 3Gs that have been hammered
Tennis
down?
courts.
Yeah, they're hammered. But and obviously, as we know, an 18-yard box is an 18-yard box. But the problem is, because it was so narrow, 2 steps up to the side, you were off the pitch. So I'm like, well, you know, could we ask to do shape work on there? Like you're trying to play from the back, and like the goalie is going to kick it over the fence. And then I found out on the Thursday, you only got 3/4 of it, and the other quarter's a ladies' team. And when we're training, they're moaning because the balls are going. So when I look at it now, fast forward 4 years, this year we've got one of the directors, MD we brought on, he's got a connection with the leisure centre. So now we go, on a Monday we've got projector screen all set up, all the video analysis stuff done, we've clipped it all, we'll sit around as a team, we'll discuss topics of, you know, could have done that better. This is what I was talking about after when I said that he wasn't covering, example, bomb. And then a yoga teacher comes in and she'll do some injury prevention stuff with the boys in the rooms, they all get cleared, heaters on.
Can I ask the question? Obviously I've watched you play a couple of times,
you
know, but I liken your football, your style of football, to Dorking and Merstham to a point.
Yeah.
You know, I'm wondering, did you have to buy Joe Vines into the playing it that way? Because I never saw Joe Vines play that type of football, but he seems to have really bought into what you're doing, and your team seem to sort of, they're all on the same page. Obviously you wouldn't have won the league that way, but you know, is that been your philosophy from when you were playing? It's the purest game of football that's going to win you these leagues, or that's the only way you want to play? Or I've never seen you play a long ball game in any way.
No.
So you know, what's the thinking behind that?
Well, it's funny because I actually got it from Craig. I was a centre half myself, not too similar to Joe Vines.
What do you mean? Kick it out?
Oh, listen, non-league football, non-league football.
He was a forward.
But non-league
was chasing it.
But he will tell you, for example, 20 years ago when we were playing, teams were 4-4-2, they stuck it on you, you had it with a forward.
Yeah.
Right, so if you was a centre half at a decent level in the Premier or the
That's
Conference,
right,
you had to have it. So Vines, he's no shrinking violet. I wasn't no shrinking violet. I wasn't dirty, but if you got that way, you played against Wade Falana, come through, mate. That ain't happening. You've got to draw your lines. So I was very similar. I didn't play that, but I remember going to Cray I played the season, and then we had a pre-season game against Bromley. They just got promoted away from us, and it was baking. I'm talking, you know, one of those pre-season games you can't even breathe. And the manager at the time, Ian Jenkins, didn't really like pre-seasons. He just didn't see the point of them, and he used to come in here and go, I don't care about this game, just get it out of the way, get me this. So Joe Francis, who was the number 2 there, went, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Northie, don't kick it long. We're just going to play. I don't care about the score. He walked out. That was his team talk. He'd got to get some stuff. So we just played, right? And we beat Bromley easily. And there was boys in that dressing room who I played with. Like, there's a guy called JT in midfield who was a header on the stick, I used to call him. He couldn't track a bag of cement. He just headed. All of a sudden, he's turning out, switching because they took the handbrake off him.
Yeah.
And players I didn't even know could play were playing.
Wow.
And we beat them. And it just stuck with me going. And that's the most I enjoyed it because I was going, I guess the ball at centre half, I'm stepping here, I'm like Beckham like that. But I loved it. And then the season starts, okay, you're lying. And then you're back to square one again.
Right.
But that stuck with me. So when I was at Here of Town, one of my, Steve O'Boyle, on a stag do, he just said to me, fancy coming in my number 2? I said, I went in there and then he got me in there, and about 3 weeks later, quit. And around the chair, we quit. So the chairman said, "Can you taxi in?" And I said, "If I do, I'm going to do it my way." We couldn't go up, couldn't go down, so I just started from there. And then we went 11 games in a row. We won, got on top of the league first time in their history. Won a cup, the Kent Senior Cup, and then BCD come in. It sort of went from there. I won the league. We got back-to-back promoted at the Kent League. Won the Barstick North, first time I've managed that level, and then in the Premier League.
Rest is history.
And that's it.
Well done, Tone.
Excellent,
mate. Excellent.
So it sort of fell into it. Obviously, since we've structured it more and become more close, because you'll try to play and then the team will stop you, and you go, right, okay, they did that, let's go away and work. And that's how it's evolved. But basically, that is exactly how it went. It just sort of went from there.
Right, okay. Coming to you now, Paul. Now it is Paul.
Tony.
Tony. Obviously, congratulations because you won your league as well. And
91 goals.
You only lost 3 games all season. Yeah. What are you talking about me then? I thought you said 91 goals.
You're running the show, you do your homework.
Only lost 3 games all season.
127.
And scored 127
goal
goals.
difference.
Yeah, that was that Booker.
Goal difference, 91, check it out.
Scored 120. Yeah, exactly, mate. 127 goals. Toby Little, he's left back. I know he's a midfielder, but he's 32, isn't he?
Yes.
Scored 23 goals for you. Must be, and his fans player of the season.
Yeah.
You know.
Jesus.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he'll be coming in for him now.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
We've got a lot of dough.
Lee Barney, 32 goals. Scott Donnelly, 21 goals. You know what I mean? It's not just one person getting goals. It's like 3-4 players getting goals. And
I think there's 7 with double figures. Yeah. So yeah, we haven't relied on the goal scorer. Barney's, I think, second leading goal scorer in the league. So we haven't got what I'd say is an out-and-out prolific goal scorer.
Yeah.
But we share the goals, and we've always done that. It just seems to be a sort of the teams we put together. We do share the goals. I think that's how we've got our success. Because I think if you're reliant on a goal scorer, what happens when he's injured? You know, he's injured. That's it. You're stuffed. You know. So I think we've always set our teams up very attack-minded, with players that can score goals from every position. Right. Toby mentions a left wing back, so we slightly more forward than the left back. We play with 3 at the back, and we're very brave, I think, with the way we go at teams. Probably like this year, you know, we have got good players. We can afford to just attack teams and say, look, you deal with us, and if you can deal with us, then we'll change. Yeah. But if you can't deal with us, then you just got to accept a beating. You know, that type of attitude. And I think that's the sort of attitude we've had all year. But yeah, very pleased. I mean, if you said to me, would I have forecasted 127 goals? No. We'd sold Doku to Cheltenham for some money, didn't we, previously? 40-goal striker. When you lose that, you sort of worry a little bit. But I just think we maybe got our recruitment right. But again, you can never foresee.
I was about to say, did you bring those players with you?
Who?
Like Toby, was he at the club already, or?
Toby came with us last season, midway through last season, with Scott Donnelly and Duncan Cully, because we had to convince the chairman he needed to spend that sort of money. You know, if he wanted to get out of that league, we needed those type of players.
Sure.
So when they come on board, our fortunes changed, and we started to hit some form. So I think the first year we finished 3rd, I think it was. We lost out in the playoffs to Cambridge City. But this year we've kicked on, Has the league been strong? I don't know. We were having this discussion with Tony beforehand. I don't think there's any. We drew with you guys. You were bottom of the league, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me of that. I mean, I'm going to ask a question.
We struggled past most.
There's a bloke here that shared a dressing room with Zola, Gullit, and Viali.
Yeah.
What the hell is a guy that's been in that sort of company being involved in long league football? You know, wasn't there sort of ambition to be a bit further up the chain? You know, being your background professional.
I don't know. I'm not really. I mean, I've got a business background. With the club website, it was my company that I was heavily involved with after football, so I was focusing on that.
Website?
Yeah.
Oh, well, might be able to get a job then.
So, no, I was focused on that, so that was important. And we just fell into football management, to be honest. I'd done my UEFA B licence because I think as a pro you sort of go into your coaching badges naturally. But we took over my local club, so I live in Kings Langley, and Kings Langley asked us to be the manager. That was step 6, and we just thought, why not? Me and Richie Allen, best mate, one of the good mates from Chelsea.
So you're rooting for them at the minute. They're doing well in the Southern League as well, aren't they? They're looking at getting that playoff spot.
Yeah, that was it. But it was eye-opening for me about what non-league is, because they had no stands at that club when we got there. It was very, very basic, a park pitch, no water would stand on the pitch. There's nothing to do with the water. It was really basic.
Yeah.
But we put in 3 stands. We raked the concrete, put in the footings ourselves.
You helped do that, probably?
Yeah, we've done it. Yeah, we've done it all. So we're sort of quite proud of where that club is now. So we've gotten 3 promotions, 3 consecutive promotions. So that's quite a big deal for them. And they had to get themselves right off the field. At the time, when we were in the Southern Prem, we asked them for a proper budget, which they promised us, and obviously didn't deliver. Which happens in the
Right.
Wouldn't happen under you, Mark, but these Germans didn't deliver. And then, so we had a choice then.
Leave me your number, Paul, tonight.
But Hayes was struggling at the time.
Players he wants it.
He wants no Toby.
The left wing back.
But Hayes come knocking, and we had the choice that do we want to go to an established football club like that, or do we want to stay here where it's we decided to make the move, and it's been eye-opening. It's been eye-opening because there's different challenges with Hayes and the right Kings Langley.
Yeah.
There's expectancy there. There's a chairman above you that's demanding stuff, where Kings Langley is. Thanks for getting us where we are.
You're happy there. You're happy there. You're happy at Hayes and everything. You're not looking to move on, maybe at the minute.
Well, it depends. Yeah, if someone come knocking,
Well,
it's extremely
okay.
fantastic.
Well, there's a platform that we're on at the minute.
But I think the club's got the potential to go quite a long way.
Yes,
it's
a great ground, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got great infrastructure. But no, in terms of pro and non-league football, I think that there's a lot you can offer non-league football from the pro game. I think people say you can't pass the ball, but I think you've got 4 managers here that do. People moan about the pitches, but I still feel that football wins your titles and gets you goals. And I think we all have the same philosophy. So that's what I bring. But again, there's no right way of playing, isn't it?
We can't say anything against that, Gary, can we? They've all won their divisions.
Exactly,
Can't say
mate.
nothing against that.
Well, cheers, Paul. Thanks very much. Well, Tony,
Under pressure, Tony.
Yeah, here he is.
you finished 6th as your manager. Your first time you've been in the league, got promoted, and now your first season in the league as the manager. To me, that's a good season, mate. You know what I mean? And you got the lottery of the playoffs. Was the remit of the club? What was the remit for the club when you got in that league? Was it just to consolidate, or was it to try and break into those playoffs?
I think coming from where they've come from, the club itself was probably just to consolidate in the league.
Wow.
So if you ask my chairman and the board, they would have said consolidate. The first time for them at this level in obviously 75 years, they've not really won anything, let alone a league. I think probably about 8 years, 7 years. That was a cup actually. But as you all know, well, yourself know what I'm like. I'm very ambitious. I'm still young. I'm driven by success.
Young bits kill me.
Do you like that? Yeah.
The young bits done me. No, I feel so much better.
There is a question about him being young.
There's a massive question. It's never going to be answered.
Big non-league question about your age.
Never going to be answered.
It's waiting, don't worry.
It's never going to be answered. But I think, me personally, I weren't coming into this league to make up the numbers. You know, I have a philosophy just like the rest of the boys around here as well. Like, we like to play football, and we ask questions of other teams as well. We're a little bit direct. We want to, you know, play a lot of football, and we do ask questions. But obviously, me being me, I don't have the same sort of budget as the other three here. I'm quite envious of, but I'll be coming to knock on Turk's door, that's for sure, for a couple of quid.
Well, it's fair to say though, to be fair to Tony, my striker is more than his whole budget. I'll tell you that now, right?
Well, I'm more worried about
mine as well.
I'm an honest guy, right? So obviously I've known really a long time, but and that's what I like about, you know, Paul, because football's got an addiction, an affiliation, an addiction. Like, we got Steve Allen's here, Steve Allen physio, is at our club. Wimbledon for 18 years, he's won the FA Cup twice, I think. West Ham he was at, no, they got beat by Liverpool in the final. Anyway, long story short, he's had a 5-year deal at Bristol City. He's down here now, and he just loves it. He just said, he lives up the road, he says, what you'll probably find is just different dynamics. If you're a football person, those dynamics get you out of bed. That's the bottom line. And Reedy's obviously played a good level, and that's the same for him.
I'm more
he
worried,
can't not compete.
Well, I'm more worried for his chairman to have an heart attack, because basically, you're on the next level. I know your chairman, and I know he is well off, but I know that he's sensible in how he plans and does things within the club.
Hey? You mean tight?
He's what?
You're saying he's tight?
Well, I'm not going to say that at all. I'm not going to say that. But Tony might say something off screen, but the facts are he lives within his means, and basically I can imagine that being a frustration to Tony, particularly now where he's got and where he could end up for next season. Or if he ends up sticking where he is, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you got there, he's already got a high ambition, and you know, are Westfield going to match that ambition for next season? That's a difficult one. I'm sure you'll probably have to discuss.
That's a discussion that we will have to have at the end of the season. Are they panicking?
I would say they're panicking.
I'd say they're panicking. I think it's come at a major rush. I think, no disrespect to them, it was walking football before I took over, you know, and now it's all hands on decks, and everybody's virtually panicking because we're for us, this is walking football at this level. For them, they're absolutely sprinting to catch up. But to be fair to them, they are trying to make ends meet, and they're trying to work around the clock to better the club, and also to match my needs as well. And it's one thing, as Mark said earlier, with chairmen they like to pull the rug, or they're always demanding. With my chairman, funny enough, he's not really like that. So he leaves me to my own devices. He doesn't really interfere with football. To be fair, he's got great banter as well. Like, for a person, when you see him, he will talk a lot. Don't get me wrong. That's one of his. He's
like me.
He'd be all right for a ski trip or whatever.
You two will talk for ages.
Yeah.
But when he says get things done, he will get things done. So, for example, there was a little rumour going around in our league about us not getting the grading done and everything. You know, I don't listen to rumours. It is what it is.
I'll tell you something, Tony. Your chairman is a diamond. When he was involved with combined counties, to get the ground grading, he wheeled it in a stand, wheeled it in on wheels. And when they come and looked at it, they looked at it, and then it got wheeled it out the next day. It is unbelievable, because you know there's some great stories from the lower levels.
That's a relegation.
I don't know if you know that one, Tony, but your chairman knows some tricks. I'm telling you.
There was actually another.
Sorry that Mark might do that.
There was another one he actually did. So before we got promoted in the combined counties, they had to do a seating plan, an extra 50 seats. So you know we've got a balcony view. He went and stuck 50 seats on a balcony, and it passed. And then he put the seats back in. I thought that was brilliant. But he's true to his word. You know, I felt that he was leaving a little bit late, 3 weeks for the whole ground to be graded.
Got it done?
And he got it done 2 days before. So you know, fair play to him.
It was very similar when I was at BCD. I got there in the Kent League, and we had an amazing run. In November, we'd done, I think, the last 19, 117, drew 2, got up. And then the chairman was like, oh, same wage bill down, mate. I think it's 750 quid for the lot of us. First thing year in that year, we won it. And then I sat down with him, and he's gone, we have to keep the same wage bill. I said, I am not going in there with 750 quid. I remember saying the same thing. They just was not ready. Even he said that. He said it's just been too fast. They all kept going, oh, they'll blow up because they were passing the ball around. I've seen them, and I remember the team, because it was VCD, they were calling it VDC, and all these, the managers couldn't even get a name right, that's how serious, it was just literally like going all the time.
But you saying that as well, when you're saying 750 quid, I think if you win a league on that sort of budget, they expect you can do it again on that sort of budget.
Yeah.
They don't understand that, obviously,
Players want more money.
Every time you go up, it comes with a price as well. Players are going to want more money. And there's so much you can sell with the facilities, the pitch and everything else, but you can't really cut a grass up and stick it in someone's
Can I ask the
picture.
question?
Yeah, exactly.
You both, well, I ain't going to take the win because it don't matter to win, but for you two, have you already had that discussion with your chairmans about they think the next level, which is what you're going, those players, because of the success they've had, that no one thinks that they are expecting to be rewarded for that. No one counters for that in their permutation of the next level. They never think about it. They just think the players will be happy just to play for the club again at the next level. And I found that difficult at Leatherhead. I left the negotiations to my chairman in the end because I was going to fall out with people that I was really friendly with because I was starting to go upset what they were asking for the next level, and I started thinking our relationships were starting to break down. So I thought I'm going to part that with someone to negotiate so that I don't break my working relationship as a manager. So
It's hard because I actually think the more successful you are, the harder it becomes. Because you've got to sit down with people, and you know, us managers will tell you, and you've done it, when you're successful, it's because your dressing room's good. Right?
Yeah.
There's never been a bad dressing room don't win leagues. Right? So you've got a good dressing room, you're so close to these boys. You've had last minute winners, you've been down the floor, you get so tight. They might have, someone might have died in their family, you take it, you take some time off, whatever, and you just get this bond, and you've got to turn around and go, I don't think you're going to be good enough for the next level. That's what you've got, and it's horrible, and I've got to do that in the colours. And me and Vinesy have spoke about it. We know the boys, I'm dreading it, if I'm honest, because they've given me everything. So for me, we will set out, I've had that meeting with the chairman, I know what I've got for next year, we know the targets we want, because we're going to have to bring in.
have you got to bring in more experienced players than what you've got? I think Paul's probably got a better team to move forward than what I've seen. And maybe, and it looks like I'm knocking your team. I'm not. But maybe you've got to recruit a little bit more, maybe than what Paul's thinking about doing for next season. So
I mean, it's hard because we're using it. When we won the league, we've whipped out some of the senior boys and we're putting the youngsters in because I want to have a look. We've got 4 or 5 18-year-olds that we think, one of them 16, we think, so we're using that now. So what I want to do is calculate everything and go, so look at these first, what have I got? I know what I've got there. These are the areas we think we've got to strengthen. As for what do you give the players who want to go up, we will offer them more than what they want now. But like I said, no one is bigger than the club.
Yeah.
So it will be, this is what it is, I'd love you to stay. If not, if you can get that somewhere else, go for it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a straight. I believe me and Vinesy always laugh because we are honest. Sometimes too honest. But everything they know, anything that's going on in the dressing room, I'll tell them. I don't do private chats. You know, managers go, I'll do it out in the open. The reason why you're not playing, mate, is because you didn't turn up for training until halfway through, and it's done. Everyone now knows what. We'll have it out as an open. So I will be nice and honest with them. You know, we do want to keep the big core of it. We know the ones we want to speak to, and that's how we're going to go about it.
Fair enough. All right, cheers, Pete. Joe, thanks very much, mate. Coming back to you, Mark. This is your second season in the Premier Division. Last season you finished mid-table 14th. So what have your management team and your team have done different this season to win it?
Spend a lot of money.
Yeah. Part of money. It's always going to come back to money, isn't it?
Well, we obviously moved to a new start. We moved on a 3Gs. That's made a big difference, obviously. That first year going into the league. I mean, by the way, these two teams now. I won't be wrong. If you didn't make a change, it'd be top 8 easily. This is not as strong as it used to be. Boston Prem by a month of Sundays. I tell you that now. We made too many changes that first year, and it took a while to consolidate. All we've done this year, we moved to 3G, and we just took a look at the league, and then just kind of handpicked players that we thought could take us further, really. So it's quite straightforward. Obviously signed Jason, who was top scorer from the league champion to the league above, who made a massive difference, ginormous difference. Saying to Tony before, real professional. If he never turned up and done a team talk, it wouldn't matter, like that level. And we signed Sammy from Bognor, Elab, who's obviously the captain and centre half. And we've done 24 clean sheets this year in that league, which is.
Have you already sorted out your signings for next season already? Because I know you're a bit proactive. I appreciate you are.
Do you know what?
Have you already sorted them?
Because I know we'll have 25% of the budget of most teams. Well, the majority of teams in that league that I know. So I'm gonna try and go down the continuity route, because that's worked really well for us before. That year, that 14th was rare for us to have a bad season, really. And
wow, we've got a lot of Dorking Wanderers supporters.
I thought we made too many changes.
I want you to be up in the ante a little bit, Mark.
No, listen, we got Pryor, we got Buchanan, two of the best strikers around, even in that league.
That's a fair point.
We kept 24 clean sheets. We're going to win the league by about 20 points.
Fair point.
So all the obvious things tell you can probably compete with a few changes. There'll be a few changes, and they're already done probably, as always. As obviously everybody was doing the same thing. But
will you carry on your style of football? Do you think that's going to be as good?
Well, just about to say,
level. This is a different
and that's
level,
the biggest deal of all, because this year, I reckon that in that Boston Prem, I can honestly say, at 22 teams, about 18 play 4-2-3-1. It's so. We play a back three. That's what we do, and we, like Paul was saying there, really, we just back ourselves to do sort of almost one-on-one defending and take the game to other teams, press them high, and it works really well for us. And again, being frank, some of the managers' coaches aren't the best, and they can't work out good systems or well-drilled systems, and that gives us an extra leg. So, next year you're going to see us. Our supporters have got to get used to this. We're not going to be, up there with the order shots, etc. But I want to try and use our continuity as our extra sort of leg, if that makes sense.
If it isn't
really.
broke, why fix it? I totally agree with that. And the type of player that you have got has played at that level. A few of them
This is the thing,
So that's the.
Well, you say that, but that's the ones in the. That's the Lewis Taylor, Luke Moore, Pryor. Yes, but then there's lads there that have come through park football that are still playing.
You've got some, but you've got a good call at a play.
We've got a good call. We have got a good
you know what I mean?
So, if everyone was highly paid, I'd just say, but it's a real blend and mixture, and for me it's important to keep that together. I think the big mistake I made going into that league was making too many changes, no question at all, because a lot of the teams, a lot of the teams
I've got a button down there.
Yeah, it's on my phone.
Speedo.
It's good. Cheers.
Carry on. Anyway.
Thanks. That's for Tony, that one. So Tony,
Carry
cheers. A lot of the teams. How do I put this politely?
Yeah.
A lot of managers that go in there with half decent budgets, and they sign just all the journeymen that email the clubs every day of the week, and they sign them all.
Thank you.
And there was a team or two this year, and it's nothing.
Well, you're going to have another controversy.
no, nothing personal to them, but you're playing a bunch of names, etc. They're thrown on a bit of paper, and I believe a team that's together, will always.
Have you done anything different as a manager?
We've done what Tony said, data. So we've got the GPS stuff. It's affordable.
Right.
It's more than affordable. It's crazy for any chairman not to get it. It's crazy.
Do you use Player Tech?
Player Tech. Yeah. We've got the.
No, but
Can he borrow it every so often?
No, but it's affordable. But we've got the data, and we obviously use the data to good effect.
Wow.
And we've also got a team of. We're very lucky. We've got a team of 5 scouts. 5
scouts.
Yeah.
I did hear that, and I wanted to have a chat.
And one of them, the main guy.
It's nickname from me.
The main guy John is basically kind of, what do you want to call it? Is a tactical analysis enthusiast. So he does it, bless him, for nothing, and he loves football, and he's brilliant. And we're really fortunate we found him. Well, I found him online, and I kept reading this guy's reports online. He set up a blog on watching teams, any team, your teams.
Wow.
And I kept reading these blogs, thinking, because you read lots of blogs, this guy knows what he's talking about, and I really thought he knows what he's talking about. This guy. And I read it again. I thought, this bloke's good. And I don't often I'd rate anybody. Anyway, long story short, I sent him a message going, John, where do you live? He said Dorking. He couldn't make it up. He goes, I live in Dorking. Right, yeah. So I goes, unbelievable. So we got him down, and he heads up his team. So
Can I say, you're trying to play down, you ain't got a lot of dough here. We're looking 5 scouts. We're
No,
looking
they
physio from the football league. You ain't doing
they work on expenses, etc. But the point is, so he does opposition analysis. So I get 12 pages on every single team we're playing, and it'll be from how they play, strengths, weaknesses, shape. You kind of grade them in terms of playing out from the back or going direct.
And you go into that amount of depth.
Literally everything, and then to the point where he'll even sort of suggest how you play against that, etc. So we'll analyse that on a Thursday as a management team. So we have stepped up a lot this year with that stuff.
So we try to, on a Wednesday, we train on a Wednesday, so the 23s will come in and we'll set them up how they would do the setup. But before we go out, we'll sit with the players and we'll put their team out on a board, and we will speak about every single one of their players' height, how tall they are, what their strength, if they've got pace, how they play. So everyone in that, because the boys know the team once you set your pattern up, they know what you're doing. The boys work out what, so they know what they're up against. So before they go, your personal best, he's 6'1", they're going to do a diag, or he's slow. Get it out to him.
Exactly.
So that they boys, we give them no excuse to fail.
Exactly. We're playing Haringey tomorrow, right? And
well, if Tom's watching this,
Tom will be watching this, but I know every single corner they got in the book. And so do the players.
Tom, change tactics, please.
So if they score one, then yeah,
got to pull him.
Yeah, but it really was that. It was just. The fact of the matter is, Mick, I know obviously you're a long ball merchant. I said on the last show, didn't I?
I hate that.
At one point,
he used to moan about out passing.
I'm just
at one point, he got told he couldn't work in any 10-mile radius of Gatwick Airport. Right? But
I thought it was drones.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a myth.
But what I would say is this: is that if you're still going long ball, then you're getting outdated quite quickly.
And what I'm going to say to all managers that might be watching this, obviously, we've got to listen to what you lot are saying, because obviously Paul's using the same type of analyst system that you are. So, and you're all won your league, so it's very hard for me to sort of pick holes in you all. Not that I want to, but very hard for me to pick holes and say it's the wrong thing to do. You've won your leagues convincingly, so it means that there's a lot more time and effort put in. You can't just rock up and become a manager and just think you're a man manager now and manage these teams. I think you've got to have a little bit more about you, and you've got to put a lot more time and effort into.
But it's affordable, though. I mean, that's the thing. And if I was a chairman at any other club, you're talking a couple of £100 a month, and
it's affordable. Westfield they've got it.
No, but
It's something slightly different, actually.
Have you?
Go on.
Tell us.
Come on then.
Go on, Tony.
It's shared.
It'll be an army assault course or something.
It is. No, because a lot of people have different philosophies, don't they? Like, my main strength is core and strengthening, and that's what we use quite a lot. And to analyse, I love to have all the gadgets that you have as well. It'd be brilliant, but I don't have that sort of wand, and I don't get it. So my analysis is just solely by the eye of watching each individual player and how they run, their movement, looking at their fatigue, the tiredness, and just the speed. And as you rightfully said, we press high, as Paul said, and what we tried to do, we did it first time round, we got him to change his system in the first 10-15 minutes, so I knew I'd done my job straight away. Only thing that killed us, obviously, when we were speaking about earlier, one of my players threw on goal, got injured, kind of deflated us. So what we intend to do is that I know that we're at the races straight away by our pressing mode. If we're not pressing, then obviously teams are going to ask questions straight away, and they're going to try and look and pick holes all over the park. So we try and press them straight away, and like you said, if they're 6'4", I love it, because that means they're going to be direct. So if they're going to be direct, I'm going to win your second balls.
Yeah.
Fact. Yeah. Because that ball's got to come down sooner or later. How many times do you want to see? I love it. I remember playing against a manager and he went, "Oh, look at the difference between mine and your team." I went, "What? Because my team are 6'5".
Wow.
I went, "Really?" I went, "Okay, let's see that." We wanted to beat them 4-0. And for me, I've never seen a football played up in the air. So again, we all like to play football.
Yeah.
So I'm
Do
always
you know, sorry, Nick, I've got to get it in because I know he's going to kill me if I don't.
Go on.
Do you know who opened my eyes to all that?
Go on.
Joe Vines.
Joe, I don't know how he done it, mate, but I've watched Joe as a footballer.
Joe is about, I did all the passing stuff, and what Joe done brilliant, he come in, he didn't want to change anything, he just wanted to bring what he could bring. And he was all about small percentages. He used to go on about it again. Well, if we could give the boys this bit, some 1 more % to win.
Yeah.
And then he's the one with the huddle software which we use. He's pushed the club to it. Look, got the guy down. He emailed
He's
the
a
guy.
big personality, isn't he? Big personality.
Joe's very, very, very good at that. And he's opened my eyes to it. So it's what people saying, oh, he's jumped on with you. He's helped me just as much as
But
I
he's opened my eyes because he hasn't got all this technical wizardry that you've all got.
Brilliant.
He's just looking at it, common sense, looks at how strong they are, how quick they are, and he's got
The fact of the matter is,
the playoffs.
the way, I obviously don't know the Westfield chairman. I hear he's a great guy, but the fact that he's lucky to have Tony, because if you've got a restricted budget and you've got a manager like Tony, and I can only imagine that.
Mark, you wouldn't want to manage him as a player.
He actually told me
You
that.
wouldn't want to manage him as a
There's
player.
big
He
love.
told me, yeah, that if he gives up, I'm going into his.
Wow.
There's
God,
big
Tony,
love.
don't do it, mate.
You're out
Don't
of
do it.
I'll say one thing.
Get another shot, get another
On our
shot.
bit, yeah. On our final bit, is, with the chairman hat on, is that I mean, our average crowds are over 1,000 next year, easily, and like, I know it might sound bizarre, but it's quite incredible because the continuity aspect and the supporters getting continuity with the players is massive. They get a real affiliation with them, you know, and you shouldn't underestimate that. And I know as a manager, kind of under a chairman, necessarily you might not get that, but you know, the kids come down. We have loads of kids in their shirts, and they want to touch the players, get the signatures, and he's my favourite player. So that's really worked for us as well, you know. Which obviously, you know, if you are trying to get a bigger budget, you know, you're trying to get more people through the gate. That's the bottom line.
One thing that you've touched on is about supporters, which we don't have. And
I'm surprised that you ain't gained some from Woking being so close.
Do you play opposite weeks to Woking? Is that in
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
It's something that we're building. Obviously, I've known Daz quite a lot while as well. Actually played with him, and we're talking all the time. How can we attract the players if they're playing away? What can we do? Like what sort of incentive?
Season ticket initiative and stuff like that, yeah.
Of drinks and everything. Can we just bring them over? So that's something that's still in motion and is still in talks with them. You know, and hopefully we can try and build that bridge, trying to get them across. And that is one of the biggest things that I think the club needs is supporters. And it's something that when I was at K's as well, we used to do the exact same thing. We used to have supporters, kids used to come into the change rooms, meet the players and everything.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way.
It really does.
But we don't have that sort of facility as well. You look at my balcony, it's about 100 people. Don't get me wrong, Monday was our biggest crowd, 229. Like, it was really busy, but I like to see that consistently all the time.
I mean, when I first started at Erith Town in Kentley, they pay a leisure centre of a running track.
Yeah,
I
it's big,
used to put the goals out myself. I had to get a trolley with wheels in it, get down there about 2 hours before I put both goals out. So, and then the VCD, listen, from my experience, I think you're doing a fantastic job,
Cheers.
and you will get that opportunity. I think I'd earned that opportunity for Craig to try and go new £20 million complex, come and head it up. I started from that and had to just do our job. It's cool. You know what I mean? I didn't have all what we were saying here. If I was putting the goals out or whatever, and then you earn the right, like we say to players, didn't we? We say you've got to earn the right. Now you either get given it, you get lucky, you get a good job, or you've got to smash it up and come through and just say to that chairman, look at me, like I'm doing this. I'm winning leagues.
Funny enough, the question I was going to ask you, like you've played in the North Division, your team, managed South Division, and now finally the South East Division.
Yeah.
Do you think that's been a hindrance to you as a club? Do you think you might have got promoted a little bit earlier than you have?
No, I mean, listen, I should have got promoted in my first year. In the North, we were top of the league, and then we had Andre Collins got injured, and then we went and got a forward from Jacob Erskines. And then right on the eve of the playoffs, he snapped his Achilles. And then we went into the playoffs with no forwards. Literally, it was just so we should have done it then. 3 out of 4 times we've been top of the league and not got it done. So for me, that ain't good enough.
That's what I say. Last season you finished third.
Yeah,
I was at the playoffs doing the commentary with Mark. Funny enough, that night you got a player sent off. Then you lost to Walton Casuals. Do you feel this season that's helped you as a manager and your team? Did you lose any players from that?
Even before that, the week before the playoffs, Mitchell Nelson, who's one of our best centre halves with Jay Leader, he got sent off the week before. So he missed the playoffs, so we had to put a youngster in a centre half. And we're trying to play from the back, he did not really get it. They pushed him man into midfield and he was panicking, so it didn't really work. So last year, discipline cost us.
Sure.
So when we were signing players, or like Mitch Nelson got sent off 3 times. Now Mitch is a great player, but we said we have to let you go. And he got back in contact in the summer, let me just hear me out. He sat down and said, look, I promise you, I'll be different. Just don't give up on me. So Vinesy is just one of them characters. You know Vinesy. He loves that person who just needs an arm man, and he goes, give him a go. He's a great player and a great lad, and he's been one of our best players this year.
Well, number 2 is very important.
Massively.
You're number 2
Massively.
with Joe, particularly. I'm thinking, Paul, what's your number 2? I don't know him.
Holmes,
that well.
Peter Holmes. He's never there. He's there for match days. You won't mind me saying that. He runs a very
start,
he runs a very successful.
That's a great
beauty
start.
company. He's open with it. He runs a very successful beauty company with his wife, and they do very well. But he's someone I trust.
Yeah.
And he's a great sounding board for me. I played with him at Luton for 5 years.
But who do you sound off at the game? You know, sometimes
Well,
you
he's
do
there
need to go.
games.
Oh, sorry.
He's there every game.
Just not training.
It's just not a training. But Clark Jenner has been like my right man for 7 years, isn't he? Little Clark, the angry man, what you call him, or everyone calls him that.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He's reliable. He brings the boom box. He plays the music. He does the warm ups. He takes train. He's great. Reliable, trustworthy. Same with Holmesy, and I think you need that as a number 2. You don't need a number 2 who wants to be a manager, really, because that causes
Because I was going to say to you, obviously, last 2 years now, you've been a sole manager. Before that, you were the joint manager.
Yeah.
So, obviously,
I miss him dearly. I do.
no, he's a good friend, isn't he?
He's a good mate of mine. He's a great guy. Excellent eye. He runs Berkhamsted's EGA team now. Who are the best in the south of England.
Right.
That testament to his coaching ability. And trustworthy guy. But as you know, the time demands on non-league football is immense. When you've got a wife, you've got a family, you've got a business to run, it takes a toll. And what we get paid isn't enough.
Yeah.
I say it's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah.
No.
So it's just over time.
Exactly.
So we're all in that boat. But I speak to him all the time. So he's still a mate. He's still someone I speak to on the phone. But Holmes has been my sounding board for the last 2 years. He's been brilliant. He thinks the same way as me. He's got a similar philosophy, which I think you need as number 2. And he just sort of convinces me I'm not going mad some weeks.
I must admit,
It's a lonely place.
It's a lonely place, yeah, it is a lonely place.
what I do like, Paul, is the fact that being an ex-professional, you've come into the non-league game, you've not bigged yourself up, you've joined, you've mixed well with us non-league sort of guys, and I know you're shaking your head, but there can be plenty of people that come down a level and they start thinking they're God's gift to football. What I've always liked about yourself is you've been sort of true to a normal guy. You know the normal game. You ain't up your own backside, and good on you for being that way.
I just think, life comes first. You're human before you're a football person, aren't you? I think the amount of time we all put in, I totally respect it. Totally respect it, because I've done it for now 8 years, and 8 years of my life doing this. You understand how much goes into it emotionally, time-wise, everything.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and I think
marriage is everything, mate. I'm telling you,
yeah,
I've been there,
comes,
done it. I'll tell you what, it takes its toll on all your. I don't know how easy this is.
Tracy, she was so what?
I'll sit out that one.
That's why me and Tony still got covered. We met Tony on the night we won the championship. Tony said, "Come, son, we're going out." He took us out to Catch a Groove, which is some soul night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So because you used to MC it, didn't you?
That's MC.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Give us a little
secret.
I'm putting on the spot there.
But we had a great night, didn't we?
Great night,
It's
yeah.
things like, because you have friendships in football that are special.
Yeah.
You know, and in the pro game as well, there's some guys that are real close to me that I still keep in touch with. I can't count on one hand.
Yeah,
the pro game is quite a selfish environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just you see, because I've known you for such a long time as well.
Wow, I didn't know that. Have you?
No. We've known each other for.
We should know, Mick. You're in charge of this.
Oh, I didn't know that. Gary, why did we know that?
That's a paragraph 4.
For me, it's
Gary, why didn't we know that?
for me, where credit's due. I know a lot of people, like when I lose my head, I do lose my head, and when he beat me twice, he didn't speak to me because I had to cool down as well. I won't speak to anybody. I think the first night I just went home, and that was the longest drive. That was an hour drive, and it felt like 5 hours for me. And the second time, I think it was just one of those games. Again, I didn't talk, but
We went out the night after.
we went out the night after, and it was such a good night. And don't get me wrong, he's won the league comfortably. The best team won that league by far, by distance. And people took to yourself, you know, you didn't showboat, you didn't like show off about it. We went out, he didn't ask for nothing. I bought a bottle of champagne.
Well done, mate. Well done, Tony.
Even though he left early, Cinderella, 12 o'clock, told him to stay at my house. But he's done a magnificent job, you know. And
Non-league exes, what a show that'd be.
Should look into that.
Believe you me, I know.
Because the club's only been like together 12 years because it merged, didn't it?
It's been
Obviously.
together 12 years, they've never won a title, they've never won a cup.
And the club must be a bit of a cliche, over the moonlight, obviously.
Are they over the moon? Yeah, they are over the moon. They are over the moon. I just think it's a harsh reality for the club, because I think everyone presumes we've got a lot of money. And if you come to our club, you've been there, the stand is a building site. It's not. It looks fantastic from the outside, but there's nothing inside it.
Right.
And you need it inside to be built to generate money. So what we have got is a car park in London, which generates money.
No.
But that's it.
to be honest, it's on an industrial estate as well,
It's
isn't
an
it?
industrial estate.
Yeah.
So we need, and the chairman's aware of this, and everyone involved in the club's aware of this, we need to get our commercial side right, because we haven't got what people are saying. And it's a shame, because I love what you said, Mark, about you've got money. Like, we've got a good budget.
Yeah.
It's not a fantastic budget. And I feel that when you're doing well, people like to say, oh,
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah, of course
It's
they
a
do.
budget. Like, it's not about your coaching. It's not about the players you brought together.
Yeah.
It's about your budget. As if the budget is it.
What was the beast team at the 750s? The boys are on last 30 40 quid.
Yeah.
I swear to you, on his life, I'm not lying.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
we've got in there, we're top of the league, and we're just, I think, the first 10 games we've won 9, drew 1, we've gone. Like, we've sort of, man start coming out, yeah, but if you knew their wage bill, I couldn't even pronounce their name. Now I know my wage bill. It's ridiculous.
exactly.
Someone in normally can't do well unless they've got money.
Yeah.
But
Just can't do it.
That's why we're proving them wrong, and I'm particularly proving them wrong because I don't have that budget. So the top 5 at this moment in time probably easily double, triple my budget. I'm not going to go into winner, so I'm going to be bossy about it because I like to play football.
Right, let me just put in the spot. What do you think the budget is for roughly your league? What's the best? What's the sort of budget we're talking about?
God, budget.
Budget.
comments.
Love the budget.
I won't go into
I'll
budget,
put my-
but just give me an idea, just so that viewers that are listening to this have got an idea what money we're talking about here, because we all
see.
want to hide the fact.
But no one knows though, do they?
No one
knows, but let's be open about it.
I don't give a shit about saying what I was. I'll give you a
Well,
fuck.
let's go. Start with you then, mate. Come on then. What's
£5
your
grand. That's what it is.
£5 your
Yeah,
budget?
that's what
Well
it is.
done, Mark.
Simple as that.
Come on. Let's do it.
That's what it is.
It's not.
He's the chairman, he's the chairman, so he can say what he
But
wants.
the funny thing is, we were asking
Paul spreading a little bit over.
I don't mind saying my budget, if I'm honest. But I don't think it's the right
You're not going to.
But what I will say,
No, to be fair, they've got chairman. I'm the chairman. It's easier for me to say.
I think what I'm trying to say.
He knows my budget.
I know his budget. I'm saying,
I like a little bit of controversy.
I'm saying for that level you're looking at, and this is just from experience as well, probably looking at South 15-2.
Right.
If I've been
Okay, I think you're about right on
Yeah,
that one.
50
Yeah,
to 2.
I think you're about right.
And
on
is
that
that
one.
net or is that gross?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let's take it. It was brave, but he's good enough to actually give the viewers an idea what we're talking about, because we talk in sort of secrecy.
Viewer,
here.
Mick.
Going to you, Chuck. Going to you, mate.
The other
Obviously,
one's gone to work.
you've been at Westfield since 2016,
Yeah.
and you finished 9th one season, 2nd, and then finally got promoted from the Combine Counties. You know, so that's a good record for you. You know, I mean, not for you, but I'm saying you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's a good record, and obviously, good progression for your team again. And talking about your chairman, he's upgraded the ground so you can participate in step 4 now. So we say he must be ambitious, the chairman, to go
is.
there.
I think, obviously, the first time I met him, I think he didn't know who I was. Thanks to Roger Stair, who got me down there. I think, I don't even know Roger Stair.
I know Roger
We know Roger well.
Yeah.
Good lad.
Sorry? Max Dad, yeah. He tried to sign me for players that got him in. I blew him out about 3 or 4 times. Didn't go down there. And he's managed to sign me as a manager. So, you know, he took me to the ground, he introduced me to the chairman, and they knew nothing about me. Obviously didn't know my playing career. So I was a nobody to them.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is surprising, isn't it? Yeah. So, but I like that actually, because that meant the conversation we had was, you know, what are you going to do? And I just said, I'll let the football do the talking, and we talk that first season, which we come 9th, I said, and then we talk next season. The second season, I think they were just astonished. Like, we played some really attractive football. The full second season, obviously, Max Blackmore, Aaron Watson, Hisham. We had an exceptional strike force where we amassed 145 goals and obviously conceded 42. You know, by far we absolutely just annihilated that league.
Yeah.
So I was building for it, but as you know, when you get a striker that scores 50 goals a season, he's going to get attention, and you're not going to compete with other clubs that come with a good budget. So for me, it was about progression and obviously looking at what I could do to build. And you know, with the chairman, I think each time we've gone up, we've always progressed, kind of thing. And I don't go for name players. For me, I used to be a name player, so I know what it brings as well. But I'm a bit old school, like everybody else.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to buy or get a name player now, what's he in it for? What are you going to get out of him? How much percentage are you going to get out of him? You're going to pay him, not saying that we will do it, you're going to pay him £200 a week. What's he really getting out of him? Are you going to get 100% out of him? Are you going to get 50% out of him? I think you're going to get 50% because all he's going to do is turn up, get his money, and think, oh, he's Jimmy Big Bollocks. I'm the same as Tony. Youngsters who's going to run through brick walls, prepared to learn, prepared to listen, and make a name for themselves to progress up that ladder. You get the better.
Have you learned from your mistakes as a player to take on to your players? Because obviously Paul don't realise I did manage him, believe it or not, and he was hard work. He was hard work, believe it or not. Believe you me. I'm rather hoping that he's brought what he might have learned from previous managers forward to his players. I'm not talking about me, because we played under some really good managers, Darren, but you know what I mean. Have you learned a lot from these managers that you played under, and has that helped you?
I have. I think one person who will stick to mind is Sammy Donnelly.
Right, yeah.
I think he was in my face. He's an older fella, you've met him. He was my true mentor.
I love that. Yeah, what a guy.
Is he a calm bloke or is he a leery guy?
No, he's very, very calm.
You would need calm people around you, yeah.
That's what I needed. I was always hot-headed as a player.
I know that.
As a manager, still hot-headed, and I think when I used to go for someone, not intentionally, he'd be in my face, like just looking at me with this like little puppy cheeks, and he'd be going, "You can't do that. You can't do that." And I think the biggest lesson I learned is when he left me at Walton and Hersham. Obviously, it was a bit too far because it is in Shoreham.
Yeah.
And I think I had to learn by myself how to control my temper, because I knew there was no one around me to calm me down. So don't get me wrong, this season, like we joke about it with my players and everything, because they fine me if I lose my head. I think I lost my head twice, so I get fined 50 quid. But as opposed to last season when I was losing my head all the time, it saved me well. Right. But I've quieted down, and I think, you know, because I'm just passionate, and
you've got to be passionate. Yeah, you've got to be passionate. Whatever.
And I think as players, I think what you're looking at little scenarios what you would do in a game, and you think, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you take chances? So yes, I've learned a lot of things for myself, because I want players to also express themselves, and I don't want to restrict them. And I think because of me, and a lot of players think, oh, I'm gonna not take a chance because they're scared of getting a little drilling or getting, told off by me. Once you cross that final third, do whatever you've got to do. I don't want to restrict you. If shoot from 40 yards and goes over the bar, great. At least you tried, because your next shot,
Quite funny saying that.
what's that? It goes top bins.
Well, saying I think it's quite funny saying it because I play for Joking in. I'm Joking in.
Yeah.
So I lived with him for 5 years, and it was like a culture shock. From Glenable to Joking in. It's quite a big difference. And he said something once. Remember Emerson Boyce, the Wigan?
Yeah.
So he was in my team, and he's a great player, but not great on the ball. And Joe Kinnear came in the dressing room once and he said, "Don't you next fucker." That's how he said it. Next fucker. He passes to him. He's coming off. Right? He's a defender, you don't pass the ball to him. I said, and Holmesy was in my team, Holmesy was my number 2 now. I said, I'd never say that to a player ever. In a million years, I'd never say that. What an arse. But now
have you done it?
Well, the story is we've got a fantastic player. I won't say his name, but he's a great doggo. Wins every second ball.
Yeah, but don't pass to him.
If you pass it inside, he will give it away 9 times out of 10. And I come in and I shouted it from the sideline. So I said, "Don't pass inside to him. Do not pass inside to that player." And Holmesy went, "I only just said what you said, joking. You never say it." Do you know what I mean? And I was like, wow. Switch. Because as a manager, you see it slightly differently. You see risks. Brilliant. As a manager, it looks always a case of risk and reward. You know, if I felt going 3-5-2 and all that attack was too risky on a bobbly pitch, then I'd maybe change it. So it's all. I think managers are all about risk reward. But yeah, I mean, I've said things that I never thought I'd say. But I can see why now someone has been said.
Yeah, that's brilliant. To be fair, that's a great way to look at it.
But I've got a lot of youngsters that are not problems, and I know I was a problem.
Thank you.
I know, and I did ask you when I went into management, because I remember you called me. You said, "Why would you go into management?" I said, "I didn't. I kind of just fell into it." But I did ask, "Was I a problem?" A lot of men said, "Yes, I was a problem." But I've learned a lot.
Yeah, but that's good. That's good. That's good for you as you're going to a manager. Right. Then you understand both sides of the coin, don't you?
Yeah,
definitely, 100%.
That's I think with Vines is very good with some of the boys that get frustrated. Like we've got a young boy, Ben Mundell, who's going to go pro, so he's got a couple of options. We had him from 17. He's now 19.
What's his name?
Ben Mundell.
Oh right,
I just told you.
Very good player.
You weren't listening.
He come as a winger.
I was asleep then.
He come as a winger, and we had a look at him, and I just didn't see him as I thought he was better coming on to the ball, so that's why we put him in a Kent Senior game against Dartford, put him at right back, and he was just like, wow, that he was coming on to the ball, and he's one of them players, when he gets up to speed, he balances off both feet, and I think he's got that 11 goals himself from fullback, but he's just a powerful runner.
Not like his one.
No, not quite.
You're definitely after it.
He's got more money than me.
He's going to call me tomorrow.
Me and Toby go way back.
Talking about, do you know what league?
Mortgage paid.
Do you know what league you're going in next season? Because it could be Boston, Prem or
I don't know
Southern.
for sure.
That's a fair point, guys.
I've heard possibly Southern. So
Because you look at the teams that have gone over, like obviously Met Police.
It'll be Southern.
They've done a smashing job, Met Police. Harrow Borough are 8th in their league. And then you've got the other two down the bottom, poor water casuals in the, you know what I mean? So are your players London based, or is that going to be a little bit of a concern?
I've got a mixture. I've got people from Stevenage, I've got people from Basingstoke,
oh, right.
I've got people from London, I've got people from Slough, Maidenhead, that way. Mixture. So the Southern League I don't think will harm
What's the problem for you?
too many of them. No, so
okay.
But there are we were just chatting about it, there are a few journeys there, you know, true.
Cool. Yeah, the chairman probably wants the local bit. If you're talking about progression, he probably wants the Southern League because it's weaker for sure.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realised what we've done the recent. We interviewed Anthony Gow and Gavin from Met Police, and I kept pushing them what the differences are between the Boss stick and the Evo stick, and what they said to myself was the fact that they felt it was a bit. The Evo stick is more physically stronger and a bit more direct in their play, and Boss stick was a bit more technical and a little bit more that way.
Also, the managers, if they're in that league, they're not going to go.
But it's a big ask to get them. Gavin was a bit non-committal. I think Anthony actually answered it a little bit more. You don't like the rubbish of the league, do you?
Don't get me wrong, the Boston Prem's not been strong this year, but the Southern Prem's not great. It's not great for sure.
I think those leagues, the Everest League reminds me of the old Dr. Martens League.
Yeah.
So it's not as strong, but the old Dr. Martens League. And the Bostic's League, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Going to you now, Tony. You're moving to a new ground in 2021 in Chislehurst. So was that a 3G? Is it what grade is that for? Is that step 4?
Yeah, they've got it's massive land, so they're going to do 3 grass pitches, 3 3G pitches, and one of them will be a stadium. State-of-the-art stadium.
Yeah, it looks decent.
So I think it's about 20 million.
Decent.
4 owners have put it up. So there's no grants and nothing. They pulled it up themselves.
Oh wow.
I think there is some housing going on there to help fund towards it, but it's amazing the project they've got, like cryo chambers and everything in there. And
I mean, this is these boys are a big deal. These boys with this, with this what they've got going on.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. I mean, this is like.
I mean, what we are at the moment is, obviously, I've been there 4 years. I know what's coming. It's at the moment everything's getting held off. Let's just get this ground. In a year's time, they'll let the handbrake off and then they'll go. They'll be a powerhouse.
Wow.
Fair enough.
That's what I think. Whether I'm there, I don't.
You could be sorting past Dorking Wanderers and waving at them.
I don't know.
We'll have our own management team. You'll be playing again, Paul.
Toby.
Tony can still do a job.
The left wing back and you.
Does your ground need improving? Like more toilets, more food outlets?
We're getting a massive terrace across behind the back goal.
Covered.
Yeah.
Restaurant down the sides.
Yeah.
Are we talking serious now, Mark? Are we talking serious what you're saying now?
Yes.
Are you
getting a big looking for a big terrace behind one goal. We got the ability to segregate the ground, so we've got 3 extra turnstiles.
You have to have segregation, do you?
No, the ability to
do
segregate.
it, okay.
So you can play like Aldershot, they'll say segregated because Aldershot fans are not very nice.
You're making an image.
Yeah. But yeah, but the stuff we got to do is fine. It's okay. To be fair, I think the grading. I know we've got long left, right? 8 minutes, so I won't waffle. But the grading, as you get like National League, Boston Prem, you can kind of understand the grading more because the crowds are bigger. We've had a lot of volatile situations this year, walking off the pitch, and it's not set. We've had a lot. Yeah, but Tony's old level, step 5, which we come from like step bloody 9 or something, right? So I've been through every single step. That's where it's a joke, That's where it's a joke, 100 people seated.
Yeah, you're fighting your way out.
And 100 people seated, 100 people standing, but your average crowd is 44, and that's where it's really difficult for teams.
I'm not really trying to sign me.
Yeah.
Step 9. Step 9.
But just quickly, Cray actually today officially took ownership of the land.
Oh, right.
So they're all out drinking, they're all meeting and drinking.
This is the biggest. This will be one of the biggest. Cray will be.
Could be.
No
could be,
question,
right.
like a real big fish.
Could be.
And Tony obviously has said it himself. 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, going on to 3G. Is it 3G?
Bromley's 3G anyway.
Yeah, no, but
and the new stadium will be 3G.
Yeah.
But it's also, I mean, they used to get when they played at Crowd many moons ago. They were getting 600-700. There's a massive interest. So why don't you think they'll get 2,000 when they go back?
Wow.
I think that's a realistic target.
That's
when they go back there, I think they'll go, because that's what the club has said to me. Like, we're in this league now. We had a meeting and said, look, it's really important that we're at the Boston Prem level. We want to launch from there. So try to keep us up. That's what the message we had at a meeting. That's what they want to do.
Fantastic.
Just stabilise us there.
Fantastic.
A minimum. If we go up, you go up. If we don't, but as long as we're in that division, we can go from there.
The thing is, commercially, you've only got to work, do the maths. If you can get 1,500 people, the average home games a month is 3.3. I work it out to be. So 3.3 games at 1,500 people. If that's a player budget.
The 3G pitch, they reckon 200 grand a year on a 3G.
Oh yeah, even ignoring all the rest
they've got
of it.
3 of them and 3 grass pitches, as well as they've done a deal with a massive cemetery.
Yeah.
So they've got no bar, so they're having 3 services a day in the daytime.
Yeah.
So commercially, they've got people now going full time to do all that. They haven't left no stone unturned.
Funny enough, there's a question that was asked. This question has been going around for a long, long time now.
Tony's age.
Yeah, that was it. The last few weeks, it's really come to the fore. This season we've got Premier Division, we've got Dorking 3G, Haringey 3G, Worthing could, if they win or whatever they do, think they can go 3G.
$1,000,000% of benefit.
And then you've got exactly. I know you're going to. I know that's question. Then you've got the
I've been there, done it.
Horsham yourselves,
I've got a theory on that as well.
People are just saying, "Oh, is it an advantage?"
Yeah.
Do we listen? I don't agree with
I'll
that.
give my theory on that quickly, right? So us as managers are dying out. We're dying for consistency from our players.
Yeah.
If our pitch is consistent, it gives a better chance for our players to be consistent.
Yeah.
That's my theory. And our pitch is.
But how do you
freaking
cope when you
consistent.
play away? See, my argument would be against that, even though I'm pro it in a way. The facts are, you know, if it's an advantage, how's it an advantage when you play away on the grass pitch the following week? I don't see how the
You play more
advantage is.
percentage of games at home than you do away, and the odd team now, every team's got probably 2 or 3 teams have 3G. So there's enough in there for you can scramble a couple after. I mean, we're a different side on grass. We played on pitches and we're different in terms of the passing is harder or whatever, but we'll grind out.
Yeah.
We'll grind it out, but on the free, put us on a 3G, we're an handful.
Yeah. So you'll be more comfortable.
And obviously you two guys on grass.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think they're quite generous saying that it is an advantage, they've got it, so it's quite nice for them to say that, but I don't think it's an advantage. Everyone else does. I just think I don't know a team that doesn't train on a 3G.
Exactly, that's my answer. That's my answer.
And also-
Everybody trains on 3G
that's my
now.
thing.
But
That's
also,
my thing.
I think the thing is what Tony's saying, I do agree with what Tony's saying, is that the dimensions of his pitch don't change. Like my dimensions, everyone knows that come to Hayes a big pitch.
Yeah.
Because it suits our style. But
right.
our 3G is not the same dimensions as our grass
Oh, right.
pitch.
Okay.
But our grass pitch is a carpet, so you can pass the ball on our grass pitch. But, you know, I don't know, because like I said, every team trains on 3G. The only advantage, I think, is that you're used to the dimensions of the pitch. And that is the only advantage I can see.
I think what I would say is I agree with you if teams train on 3G, but I think some teams have got limited training. We personally, I might be wrong, because from our perspective, we've come from, you know, every single week going, can we train, can we not, can we get out the goal mouse?
Yeah.
This year, do what you want.
Exactly.
And it's made a massive
That's
difference.
where we've had our problem, because when we
Yeah.
train on 3G, it's 5-a-side.
Sure.
So that's where our struggle is as well.
Work on nothing.
Yeah.
We work on nothing, and if we do get to train on the back where we warm up, because it's a floodplate pitch training ground as well, in the winter it's just unplayable.
That's what we have for years.
So 3G. So again, going back to combined counties, and at this level, for the training facilities that we've had, yeah, it's been remarkable to know that.
As I said to the club, when we get to the ground, they're going to do floodlights on the grass pitch as well. So if we're playing a team on a Saturday with grass, we'll do 2 sessions.
So you can
of
turn the
grass.
lights round and things like that?
No, it'd be just 2 separate.
Oh, big
they
club.
might rent them out to a local non-league team who can play on the grass pitch. So what we said is, it'd be brilliant if we could do the 2 sessions of the grass pitch leading up to the grass game.
Yeah.
If we've got a 3G game, we do the
Yeah.
2. That's what I
Ideal,
think.
yeah.
That'd be idealistic for everybody.
Then you've got no excuses. It'd be like you can cut
Who's going
it.
to win the playoffs? Is that the next question?
No, we ain't got time for that. So before we end the night,
2 minutes,
I
Gaz.
know. Before we end the night, obviously, I'd just like to just say, I know Mick and I would just like to say thanks to all the managers. We've been to many games this season, and we've asked many questions, managers, coaches, players, and we're interviewing after the game. If they win, lose or draw, they come out. Obviously, some of our questions is near the knuckle. You know, we're different to the modern media non-league.
Sandy Breezy.
Exactly, mate. You know, different from the rest of the media world. But we do appreciate the thoughts of the managers coming out that come out and answer the questions, and also the clubs as well. They've been superb to us. You know, we turn up, they look after us, teas, cakes, whatever we want, we get us. It's lovely. A load of cakes. We love that. So we'd like to say once before we do go, thanks very much for looking after us, and thanks for the managers, and obviously to you guys, thanks very much for coming tonight. We really do appreciate
Can
your
we
time.
ask who's going to win the playoffs?
So we just, just like to say thanks very much, and especially like for all the next season, all the best for the next season with where you go. And Tone, all the best for the playoffs, mate, because you must be quite confident going
Yes,
in the playoffs.
Reedy. Come on, Reedy.
You must be confident.
I think, as I said, start of the season, I'd like to go undetected, which I have done so far. I like the other teams to be played about, let them be hyped up, and I think they're being taken seriously. So I'll wait to the final, which I will get to.
Good.
And then
Go on, Reedy.
Gary, can I just say, I'll know there. Winner, playoff winner from your
Tunbridge.
Tunbridge.
For my one,
Come on,
Come on,
no, I'm just trying to. I'm going to go.
Caution, yeah.
I'm going Ashford.
Ashford.
Oh.
Come on, let's round it up.
What I will say is, Bracknell were a very brave attacking team. I love that style. So but I got to go with my mate because I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
What's
play
the
it
guy's sitting next to me, and he's going, well, he's going in there with Fulham. And like,
Fulham,
you know,
he's
the
got
pressure's
Fulham.
off him.
Yeah.
They have to win. He's going in there. You know.
There you go,
luck,
Westfield.
honestly, good
Right,
luck.
lost it
Okay.
quick.
Well, thanks very
And
much,
everything.
and it's good night from Sullivan Pascoe, and hope we see you next season.
St. Greasy.